Hello, welcome to the Friday, April 13th, 2018 edition of the SANS and Storm Center's Stormcast. My name is Johannes Ulrich and today I'm recording from Jacksonville, Florida. Remember how about 2 weeks ago Drupal published a critical patch that fixed an unspecified remote code execution vulnerability. Now at the time the patch was actually done, so it wasn't easy to pinpoint the actual vulnerability, but apparently the bad guys have caught up. There is a public exploit that was released today and we have already seen a couple hits against our honeypots taking advantage of this vulnerability. The root cause here is how parameters are being passed to the built-in mail function. Now, mail functions actually had issues in the past. Even PHP's own mail function didn't clean up parameters being passed to the command line at one point, leading to OS command injection. This one here is a little bit different, but still very easy to exploit. All it takes is the right curl command, no real sort of complex exploit really that you need to write. So if you see any attacks against your Drupal instance or just against any random web server, let us know, and let us know also what the actual post parameters are that are being sent to your system. And needless to say, since we already see attacks against our honeypots, if you patch today, you're probably too late and should first check if the system was already compromised. But well, the bad guys don't always get it wrong, and Brad had a nice diary about one recent ransomware campaign that, lucky for us, not so lucky for the attacker, used a broken Verde macro. The Verde macro didn't run, and as a result, the ransomware was never downloaded and never ran. You probably still want to take a look at the indicators of compromise that Brad published, because currently this particular macro has been fixed, so users that fell for the first version may also be somewhat susceptible for the update. Well, and yesterday I talked about broken random number generators in JavaScript. So today let's talk about a perfect random number generator. And that's something that researchers at NIST accomplished. They used entangled photons and detected them at a distance that was sufficiently far apart from each other so they could no longer directly interact. Well, they came up with 1024 random bits, which really is sort of an indicator for the problem of these perfect random number generators, and that's that their bitrate just isn't fast enough. For practical applications, there are actually some other sort of photon-based random number generators that do achieve much higher bit rates and that are, as far as people have been able to tell so far, still close to perfect. And Malwarebytes is reporting that they are seeing a large campaign that started sometime around December that is infecting websites in order to install malware on users' systems. The user is tricked into believing that they are installing a browser update. That's why this particular campaign has been named Fake Updates by Malwarebytes. I guess we'll have to see if the recent Drupal vulnerability will be used this same way, or if we just get yet another crypto miner installed on our servers. And then we got yet another compromised Bitcoin exchange. This time it's Indian company Coinsecure. Now, in this case, it appears that an insider is to blame for this latest attack. 438 Bitcoins were stolen. That amounts to about $3 million US. I linked in the show notes to an archive of Coinsecure's homepage where they announced the theft. Currently, I don't see anything on their website. The website seems to be semi-functional at this point. The explanation on their website talks about problems recovering private keys, so it almost more sounds like a mistake than like outright theft. And then we have another nice bug bounty write-up about a cross-site scripting vulnerability in Pastebin. The amazing thing here is, first of all, well, that Pastebin, a very popular site still has some cross-site scripting vulnerabilities to be found. The second sort of interesting part is that was found as part of their Markdown language. Markdown is often used to actually avoid cross-site scripting because with Markdown you no longer allow users to actually use HTML markup, but instead use these square brackets in order to then allow the user to actually add markup to the text. Well, the way the markup was then converted to HTML, that's sort of where obviously some of the problems happened. So if you are using Markdown as a part of your web application, take a look at this vulnerability. It's pretty interesting how they're actually exploiting it. Well, and that's it for today. So thanks for listening and talk to you again on Monday. Bye.